Hmm. Good evening, Brave New World. Joshua here. Hello. The topic that I would love to talk about this evening of the date August 21st of the year 2020. It's evening and it's still the date I mentioned. The topic that I would love to talk about in this entry is my favorite author and my favorite book. What's the name of this author and what's the name of this book? I'm just putting my table a little closer. What's the topic that I would love to talk about? The topic that I would love to talk about this evening is my favorite author. Who is my favorite author? Well, my favorite author is this Norwegian-British writer called Roald Dahl. Pronounce it with me, feel free to do it. Roald Dahl. Roald Dahl. Again, R-O-A-L-D D-A-H-L. There you have it. Wait. Yes. That's the name of my favorite author, Roald Dahl. This name may not sound familiar to you at all. However, once I mention some of his books, which were adapted into magnificent movies, then this name might ring a bell to you. Does the name Matilda sound familiar to you? And what about the name Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Let's try with the BFG, the Big Friendly Giant. The Big Friendly Giant. The Big Friendly Giant. And what about now some other two of my favorite? James and the Giant Peach and the Witches. How about that? Do these names ring a bell to you? Because if that's the case, then you know what author I'm talking about. The great master creator of the magnificent children's book like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Matilda and similar other books. Now, what I would love to talk about this evening is something really specifically about one of my favorite books, which is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Have you heard about it? I mean, have you watched the movie? I'm pretty sure you have. The name again is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I would like to talk about that book and that movie directly, and I would love to talk about the movie in particular. The movie Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, directed by Tim Burton and starred by Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham Carter, and Freddie Highmore. Of course, Freddie Highmore, whose name might sound familiar because he stars in The Good Doctor as of the year 2020. Now, plastic bag. Okay, about the adaptation of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I love the movie very much, but there is one characteristic about this movie that I would love to talk about. As usual, I could say the usual about these kind of movies that are adapted from books, that is not faithful to the book. There are so many details that were skipped. There are so many details that they didn't take into account, and this is not like that in the book. Oh, that was a creative liberty, because in the book that doesn't happen. Precisely, I'm going to say that. However, it's not necessary. It's not necessary, I think. Why? Because so many people have already said that, and there are plenty of readers out there who love Roald Dahl and have read the book of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So, my point is, the thing I want to talk about is this particular character that they created for the movie. Only out of, what do you call it? They made this character only in order to make the story more interesting. They took some creative liberties, and definitely they included a character that is not even real. They included a character that does not appear in the book. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about the father of Willy Wonka, interpreted by the magnificent actor, British actor Sir Christopher Lee, who was, sadly because he passed away in 2015, he was a very magnificent and competent actor who was really famous and infamous for playing mostly villains. Dracula, Frankenstein, Saruman, Sherlock Holmes and Mycroft Holmes, and at the same time he was Lucifer, he was Death, he was Count Dooku, he was the guy of the golden gun in James Bond, and so many other villains. And how convenient that they chose Christopher Lee to portray a character that doesn't exist in the book, a character who is rather strict, a character who manages to display an enormous amount of venom and poison in just one line that he says with all the hatred in the world. Lollipops, they get stuck in your braces. I do not have the voice, nobody will. But yeah, how funny it is that they use a character that doesn't appear in the book, yet this character manages to be extremely enjoyable, totally memorable, totally decent, extremely well acted, and each of his lines are said with such a big acting power that you are like, okay sir, I'm going to listen to you and I'm going to brush my teeth and I'm going to listen to you. Okay, so please stop looking at me like that, Sir Christopher Lee. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. How is it that a character that doesn't exist in the book manages to be for real actually enjoyable, even though it doesn't exist in the books? Mr. Wilbur Wonka, the supposed dad of Willy Wonka. In the book it doesn't exist. Neither is the family of Mr. Wonka mentioned in the book. They do not talk about that at all. Hey, I have a friend. Hello, Cindy. So yeah, how is it that a character that doesn't appear in the book, yet it's only in the movie, yet however, it's totally enjoyable, it's totally good, memorable, villainous, well acted, well said, well performed, and most importantly, it's freaking Christopher Lee. It's goddamn Christopher Lee, sir, because he was knighted, Sir Christopher goddamn Lee. Huh? How can you say no? How can you say bad acting to such an amazing actor who also survived the world wars? So yeah, guys, that's what I wanted to talk about my favorite author, one of my favorite books by this favorite author, Roald Dahl, and how is it that a character that doesn't appear in the books is actually fantastic, good, and enjoyable. I mean, if an amazing actor like Christopher Lee plays him, naturally, it's gonna be good. That's what I wanted to talk about. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you later in another vlog. The name of the song, The Path of the Goblin King by Kevin MacLeod.